We are live on Facebook here with Antonio Esfandiari.
How are you?
Thank you for coming, my man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So a few things we'll talk about today. I think we'll kick off first and foremost with some of your prop bets. One most recently
I have a feeling I know where this is
going. One most recently.
Why do I have to get tortured like this? We just got started.
This is what happens when you come in here and you work with me. We're going to torture you. That's what it's all about.
Fair enough. What do you want to know?
All right. So, I mean, give us how does that work? Bill Perkins is your good friend.
Yes, he's one of my besties.
He's notorious for these types of prop bets.
Yeah.
You happen to be I'll call you a victim, but you're actually a beneficiary of these prop bets.
Typically a beneficiary, sometimes a victim. Yes.
Okay.
True story.
All right. So what happened?
So we've had a lot of bets historically, Bill and I. Bill really, one thing I really love about him and that people don't know is that, he's very successful, right?
Yeah.
And he has designed his life to literally not die with money left over, right? So his kids are all set up, all this trust, all this stuff are all good, right? And he said, every other bit of money I have, I hear about people dying all the time with so much money left over. And it's like, there's so much you could have done with that money. And he says to me, he's like, I want to die with no money left over. Now, people say that all the time, but they don't actually do it. And so he's come up with a formula of how much he makes, how much he has, how much he spends. And he's like, well, I have to spend this much money every year. And so it's like being his buddy and hanging out and gambling all the time. There's certain perks that come along with that. PBF gets a tattoo on the back for $500K.
Just $500,000
$500,000 for a tattoo.
Yeah, and PBF, to clarify,
professional best friend Jeff Gross.
The professional best friend,
yes.
Jeff Gross.
Correct.
Yes. All right. That's
so and it's funny because in talking to him, you really think about how powerful that is, right? Because our entire life is a rat race, right? We're just trying to make as much money as we can, and sometimes we forget to stop to enjoy the present moment. Right.
And Bill Perkins has no problem doing that.
Bill Perkins is really living life to the max. And it would petrify me to start living on that formula. I couldn't do it.
No, I couldn't.
It's like, well, I make this much, I'm going to make this much, let me figure out how much I have to spend per year.
Right.
And then come up with silly things to spend it on. I mean, I would love to have Bill Perkins money and challenge my friends to do stupid things all the time.
I bet you would.
Yeah.
I love it. So this particular bet happened.
We're getting back to that now?
Happened at PCA. Oh,
I thought
you're not dodging this. You're not.
I thought I misdirected you good enough to.
It's too good. I mean, it's too good. We got to talk about this.
We made a bet where I had to lunge everywhere I went for 48 hours. We were at the Bahamas for the PCA.
Yes.
And I had to lunge to the poker room, which, if anybody knows the Atlantis, is a trek and a half. Okay, it takes a long time.
Right.
It took me almost 4 hours to get there.
Oh my God.
I called my trainer and I said, what do I got to do? And he gave me all sorts of instructions. Stop every X amount of feet, put your feet up, get a massage, the whole thing. So I had my dad walking next to me with a chair, and I would stop every 20 steps, take a seat, take a little breather, stop every other 20 steps, put my feet up, lay down on the ground. So I was very prepared for this.
This bet was exhausting as hell.
Yeah, it was really, really exhausting.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't so bad getting there. It was just tiresome. But it was when I was sitting at the poker table, hours into the tournament, that all of a sudden my legs were just jello.
Yeah.
And the bathroom is extremely far from the poker table. It's not like you just get up and go to the bathroom.
Right.
It's a trek in itself. And so, well, I think we all know what happened. I've never actually said what happened. I don't need to say that on camera.
I'll say it. Under the table was your restroom, essentially. Not the floor, but you had a cup.
If that happened,
if
it happened, it would have happened in a very kosher way.
Yes.
When everybody was on break, and I had people covered on both sides,
looking out,
sanitizer and a little bucket, and it's not like.
I did see some criticism about so Antonio's going to the bathroom in a kosher, pleasant way under the table using these chips, and then what the hell? Now we got to use these same chips.
Definitely not.
But you got the sanitizer.
Definitely not.
First
of all, there would never, if it happened, there would never have been any drippage. Okay?
No,
not
you're
a
clean.
chance.
You're very clean.
Okay, I'm very.
Well, you're a professional.
I'm very methodical with the
Yeah.
And there's no way that anybody would have ever seen it.
Right.
And in the end, it was really only the only person that it could have been was the dealer.
Yeah.
Who was there, who realized something wasn't right.
And kind of said, hey.
And then when they came up to me and pulled me aside, that was the most embarrassing thing because like, hey, can we
right.
talk to you for a second? And I saw the tournament director's face and I was very serious.
And you're like, shit.
I'm like, uh-oh. And so I had to lunge over to him, and he says,
Oh,
did this happen? And I realized at that moment that I had two options. I didn't really have two options, but I could have said no. They would have no proof. They would have no proof because if there was a camera, it was on
it's not under the table.
Right, you could never tell.
They can't see.
But, I don't think that in those situations, lying about what happened is ever a good idea. Because you also have to kind of live with yourself. So I just pointed out the truth, and he was flabbergasted. He was shocked. And I'll just never forget the look on his face. And he said, well, there's going to be consequences. I said, okay. He's like, go back to the table. So I go back to the table. About 7 minutes later,
so brutal.
4 suits show up.
So brutal.
Right? And these guys in the suits, I'm like,
and this
oh
is
boy.
the main event, right?
It's the main event. I had like $120,000
buy, or not 10,000,
but I had 120K stack.
Yeah. Oh my god.
These suits come up, and now I'm like, uh-oh, this is not good. So then they call me over. So again, I had to lunge over there, right? So I get up, lunge 10 steps.
Oh wow.
And the guy who I'd never seen before is obviously a super high exec. Says, is it true? And I said, yes, it's true. It's not like I just thought I could do this. It's not as if I just think I can, no problem. And, I expressed the situation. I said I was very sorry, but I have a 50K lunge bet, blah, blah, blah. Oh. He said, okay, well, you're disqualified from the tournament, and you got to go.
That's so painful.
Well, the painful part is I had to lunge back to the table, grab my stuff, and lunge out of the room. And everybody is like, what's going on over there? So, I just want to finish it with, I'm deeply ashamed of my actions, and I wish that I'd never done that. And, I don't want my son to ever know that I did that. And that's when it hit me.
We'll delete this after we're all
sometimes you get caught in the moment of a big bet, right? I don't want to lose 50K.
Yeah.
And you kind of lose yourself. And I was trying to win so hard that I forgot about the most simplistic just way of being as a human.
Yeah.
And even though nobody saw me, and even though it was in a kosher way, that is no way for anybody to behave, especially me.
Yeah. Well, that's very...
And so I was extremely embarrassed, and, I don't know if you know or not, but I gave the whole 50K to charity.
I did know that.
Just to, be done with it, make good on it, and my apologies to everybody. It'll never happen again.
Yeah.
And, the funny thing is, we're guys, and so if let's just say you're in a outdoorish environment and it's late and there's no restroom around, you're just gonna go pee. That's what guys do.
Take a leak,
right?
Yeah.
So every time I'm in a situation where I'm like in the bushes or outdoors or something like that, I'm like, maybe I should wait for the bathroom. Just in case if I ever get in trouble again, it's over for me.
This is gold.
So there's no more taking a leak in random places.
Oh, well, appreciate you telling the full story for that. That was.
Yeah,
didn't mean to bring it up.
That was a tough one. I mean, it hurt me emotionally for a while.
Yeah.
To have done something so stupid, because I typically make good decisions. I when it comes to big decisions in my life, I don't really make stupid decisions.
And another really interesting part that I don't think a lot of people may know about you, and I just read this. You had some comments. I think it was somewhere on Twitter. People were calling celebrity, and you flat out said, "Listen, I am not a celebrity. I'm a poker player."
Right.
That's all I do.
If you walk into a poker room, people know who you are, and then you walk into a regular room and nobody knows who you are. You're not a celebrity.
That's the difference between.
So there's some other poker players you can ask, and they'll definitely call themselves celebrities. I won't mention any names.
In the poker world, yeah.
Right. But I do not consider myself a celebrity, not by any means. And if I was, it would be like a D-.
A D- celebrity
maybe
list?
an F+.
I'm putting you way up there.
F+.
On the
F+.
poker celebrity list, you're way up there. That's for sure. But yeah, that's interesting. And some poker players actually consider themselves a celebrity without mentioning some names.
Yes, without mentioning.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So we're done with that.
All right, so that's it. We got the PCA one out of the way. Two more I do want to bring up. There's an interesting one that had a lot of drama behind it, and I know again involving Bill.
The bike ride.
And the bike ride, and Dan Bilzerian, Bill Perkins. What was the hang up there? Something where Dan gave himself an unfair advantage by drafting?
Sorry, I've had a terrible cough.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Well, they bet that Dan couldn't ride his bike in 48 hours from Vegas to LA. And when you make a bet, you're supposed to come up with the stipulations, right? And so they came up with the stipulation that he couldn't use any mechanical assistance. unfortunately for Bill, at the time they came up with that clause, the intent of that clause was for a mechanical vehicle, like a bicycle or something that could actually assist. Now, anybody that cycles knows that drafting adds a massive advantage. So, is that van mechanical assistance? In my opinion, it is, because you're creating, air-free space for you to ride your bike. You can almost hover. But the intent of that clause was not for drafting. It was for actual mechanical assistance tied to the bike.
I see.
So if you went to arbitration, depending on the arbitrator, I think that both sides would have a really good argument. But Bill Perkins, being the guy that he is, decided that his friend had suffered and did it.
Right.
And even though he had argument to go to arbitration, that he was just going to pay.
So he followed through and paid up on
He
it.
just ponied up.
Wow.
Now, the interesting is there was a lot of other bets with other people.
I heard about the Rick Solomon twist, which was hilarious.
And if you're Rick and you have this bet with everybody else, and you see a guy basically hovering behind this truck, you're going to be monkey tilted.
Yes,
right?
Of course, yeah.
So I totally get both sides. So I can't say that Dan won or Dan didn't win. All I know is he did ride his bike from A to B without any mechanical assistance, pending the original intent of the clause. Now, did he draft behind a vehicle? Yes. Should Bill Perkins have stopped it before it started, given that he was there when it started? Yes.
Yeah, he could have intervened too. He followed the whole thing.
If you see that something is not right, and you allow it to happen, and then later want to go to arbitration, you're in essence taking a free roll on your opponent. Right. So I think that Bill and whoever else was there bared some responsibility.
He understood
to say something about the drafting.
Yeah, I agree. Right? That's interesting.
We could sit here for an hour and discuss that bet, because you could argue both sides to the end of time.
Yeah.
And they decided not to go to arbitration, and Bill paid. Now the other bets I'm not too sure about.
Yeah. That's interesting. I hadn't heard that aspect about Bill was there the entire time. He could have stepped in.
Right. I mean, you and I have a bet, and you're doing something against the bet.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to stop. I'm going to say, hey, you can't do that.
Yeah. Right.
So.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right. So you're. I like it. And Bill is he's an honest fella.
He's literally one of the greatest humans to walk the earth. He's unbelievable. He's a great friend. He's a good father. He's fun.
Yeah.
He loves playing poker, which is great for us.
Yeah, apparently it's good for the game.
It's good for the game.
It's good for the game.
I love Perky.
Yeah.
He's just great. I mean, and he really likes to have fun and kind of live in the moment and have adventures. He's coming to Burning Man with me this year.
Burning Man. We're going to get to that too. As we kind of move down through here, I have this script, but we'll probably bounce all over this thing.
Scripts are over.
I'm not a script guy myself. Before I forget this one, tomorrow there's another big prop bet type of thing going on, similar to the Sorrell Brian Rast fight. Tomorrow at the exact same gym at Syndicate Gym, JC Alvarado is fighting Olivier Bousquet.
This is tomorrow?
This is tomorrow night, 6:00 p.m.
I was trying to get some action on this.
I was going to ask, do you have any action on either side?
I would like action, and I don't want to say it because there's still somewhere I could probably get action from.
I gotcha. But we won't do that to you. We won't.
Actually,
some things we'll torture you with, but we won't torture you with this one. Yeah.
I mean, JC's a seasoned, trained, expert fighter.
Yeah.
But the look in Olivier's face the last few times I've seen him, not just his body size, but his confidence is oozing.
Yeah.
And confidence goes a long way. And, the Mizzy and Sorrell fight, the Mizzy and Rast fight, Mizzy was just oozing confidence.
And he was much more physically, not that Brian was out of shape, but Sorrell was really ready to roll. He dominated that entire fight. I was walking around the whole ring. You saw me doing that, and it was a bloodbath.
It was a bloodbath. And they're both really good friends of mine. So.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I think the current line. I was reading my friend Matt Plants. He's been tweeting all day about this fight, and the current line, according to Pinnacle Sports, believe it or not, is carrying this.
It's on Pinnacle.
It's on
that's
Pinnacle.
So that's got to hurt Rast and Mizzy. They didn't make Pinnacle.
They didn't make.
Guess they're not a big deal.
No, I don't know. Okay.
So what's the line?
Oh, I love the needles. Line was JC as the favorite at -115, which seemed fair.
Okay.
Considering this was his thing. He's been training. He's been working hard at this for years now. And Olivier has only had, I believe, 6 months of training to prepare for this fight. So that would make JC a small favorite. Now, my other good friend, Jason Mercier, he was booking action as Olivier is a favorite at -115. So, it's going both ways here. According to the book, you got the Pinnacle book, and then you got the Poker book.
I wish I could be here. I have to leave tomorrow, but I would do anything to be here for that fight.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm hoping that I can get over there and check it out.
Well, you're in town. You have no excuse.
I'm in town. Well,
if I was in the city, I would be there.
I'll tell you what. I'll probably be there.
Okay.
Probably be there. So that's all the fun prop bet stuff. We'll get back to some more questions and comments from our viewers tuning in.
I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a new bet coming through.
There's a new bet coming?
A new big bet. Just give you a little teaser. That's all I can give you.
You can't say who it's involving anybody?
What,
but this is a massive bet.
Just a massive bet coming
through.
through.
I love this stuff.
Yeah.
I love this stuff. When it happens, can we have you back in here so we can kind of talk about it?
I'm not actually involved, but
but you'll know a little bit more.
Yes.
You always have the ins and the outs, if you will. All right, cool. So let's move on. GPL, Global Poker League. That's the new thing that's happening right now within the entire poker industry itself. It's an attempt to sportify the game, to funify the game. I like
funify.
It. Funify
make sure
the
you use
game.
that at home. Kids going to school
Excellent
learning
word.
English.
Both of our sons, that's the word you should be using next week. It's an interesting concept. I just looked at the standings. You have two leagues. You have the Americas Conference, the Eurasia Conference, the New York Rounders on top of their division, and the Paris team is on top of their division. So GPL, you were supposed to be a part of it, and then the last minute you bailed. You dropped out. I don't want to say bail. You didn't bail on anything. It wasn't for you.
Well, I don't want to say it wasn't for me. I think that anything that promotes poker and gives poker the opportunity to become a bigger and better thing, sportify, is a good thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I really didn't know what was going on. It just kind of all happened so fast, and somehow I was in it, and all of a sudden, I spoke to my manager, agent, and whatever, and it just, for now, it wasn't the thing for me. And so, but I really hope that it succeeds, and that someday I could be a part of it. But for now, it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Beautiful.
But I think that Alexander is great for poker. I mean, the guy's gonna just drifting around the world like a machine, trying to get money and raise money and put people together and create this whole thing for poker, which, look, you got to give the guy some credit. He pulled it off, right?
Absolutely.
How it plays out, who knows? But to his credit, he pulled it off.
And it's season one. I mean, anything in the very first season, it's not necessarily, no one expected this to just take off and sizzle and fireworks and wow, boom, poker's back. First of all, poker didn't go anywhere. It's still here.
Well, it went stagnant.
It's a little stagnant. It's still here. It's more of a, let's make poker great again. It's like, let's make poker greater again.
You sound like Trump.
Oh, God, I hope not. Yeah.
Let's make poker great again.
Let's make poker great again, yeah. I hope not. We'll avoid the politics for this. Yeah. Oh, I love it. So, Aaron Paul, monster pickup for the GPL. Anytime you bring in that's a celebrity. Anytime you bring in a real celebrity into something that's poker related, I think that's really good for the game. It brings a different element. It brings new fans. It brings familiar. It brings older fans back and says, "Wow, this is pretty cool." Star of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he's pretty badass.
Yeah, he is badass.
There's not a single guy in the world that doesn't like Breaking Bad.
Oh man, it's
such a good show.
So good.
If you asked Phil Hellmuth who was more famous, him or Aaron Paul, who would Phil Hellmuth say? That's a question for you guys.
Oh boy, yeah, I'd love to know the answer to that.
It's a good question, no?
I'm leaning in the direction of Phil picking Phil.
For sure.
But
there's no version of him saying Aaron Paul.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Phil thinks that he is a bigger celebrity than Aaron Paul. So.
Well, I've won 11 bracelets, shows.
Oh, I love it.
Anyway,
I love it.
I can't do an interview without a little Phil Neal.
I hope we can do.
The truth is, I'm upset that for 15 years I've offered him a heads-up match. We played once a long time ago, and he was talking all this smack. And I said, "Look, I'm tired of you talking smack. Anytime you want to play heads-up for $100,000, and the winner shoots the loser with a taser gun, I'm available."
Wow!
This is on the table. It's official for until I die. Phil, the challenge is live.
Can we make that happen, please, Phil?
He won't play me.
I mean, what's the deal with that? Why? Is he afraid of tasers? He doesn't want to be embarrassed?
He says, and this is actually true, that if he wins, he doesn't really gain that much. But if I win, I'm the one that took down the great Phil Hellmuth. So it's way more beneficial for me. Because he's such a big deal.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's... Okay. Yeah, that's great. That's great.
But anyway, my challenge is
Please let that bet
I would
happen.
love to play him heads up.
Oh,
100K and winner shoots loser with a taser gun.
Wow.
Or any amount he wants.
Wow. I don't understand how.
Any amount he wants. Up to $1 million I'll play.
Up to $1 million,
yes.
and loser gets a shot in the ass
it's
by
live.
a taser gun,
I
right?
authentically offer.
Holy cow. Phil, $1 million. I mean, how do you...
Pick me off, you fish.
Wow. This is fantastic. This is great. So, Phil, you guys will be competing, kind of, in the exact same event coming up here, Super High Roller Bowl.
Which is the greatest tournament in the world.
The Aria, Las Vegas, and it is the greatest tournament
this place.
in the world.
Look at that.
Yeah, well, ironic, yeah. Yeah, so Aria, that's Memorial Day weekend, starts May 29th. It's a Sunday. Whole thing will be available to a live audience. Can't talk any more details about that. 49 players, rake-free event. We're kicking in, Poker Central's kicking in $300,000 on top. You're in the field. Hellmuth is in the field. The heads-up battle would be pretty sweet if that could happen. Oh, please,
don't tease me.
Please. Oh,
but I really got to give credit to. I mean, yes, I know that I'm with Poker Central, but to set the bar so high with a poker tournament, take out the rake, and add 300,000 is just so strong. You can't really top that.
No, it's.
And so I just want to. Maybe we should have a moment of silence or. Something.
Should we talk to the screen here? Just thank you.
Yeah, let's take in the screen.
Thank you so much for everything that you've done for the poker world.
I like it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
wonderful.
That's
Yeah, thank you for that.
But no, listen. Other tournaments should really think about what is happening here, and maybe incorporate a little bit of that for the players, because this is really about taking care of the players.
Could not have said it any better.
Right.
I mean, this is what other tournament does take care of the players like this? None.
It's not even close.
Yeah, and
the rake is getting high, and
the brand themselves is taking advantage of the players, and we're using these great superstars to create their own product. It's nonsense. It's about time that it's happened, and Poker Central's doing it the right way.
I like it.
So that's great stuff. So we hit all this. If you had to give me top 3 players, not including yourself, because we all know you're going to be in my top 3.
I would never give myself.
Top 3 players coming into this event, Memorial Day weekend, Super High Roller Bowl. Who would you have to pick to be favorites to win this
I
thing?
would go with the king. That's Brian Rast.
Brian Rast, yeah.
We call him the king.
Mm-hmm. Defending champion.
King Rast.
Yeah.
Is Phil Galfond playing?
Yes, I believe Phil Galfond is playing.
So. He's a beast.
Yeah.
He's a super beast.
Yeah.
And then one of these Germans. Any of the Germans, they're just freaking tough. The Germans.
Germans are on fire. Yeah,
Germans are on fire.
They're so good. They seem to be a level above the rest of the.
Yeah, they're just super good.
Today's
They must have
field.
locked themselves in the basement for like 3 years and ordered Chinese takeout and just studied every single hand 1,000 times.
They did.
Yeah.
They absolutely did.
And it works.
They still are right now.
they're
The Russians are right behind them, I think.
They're super good.
Yeah. All right. So we got King Rast, Galfond, and then any insert German.
Just, if you're German, you're good.
Insert German here. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. All right. So then right after, so we have Super High Roller Bowl. Directly after that, we move into the World Series of Poker. How's your schedule like? Do you play a lot of events there?
Yeah, I'm going to play all the No Limits and some PLO. And
any? I believe I have some stats on you, just in case you weren't aware of this.
Oh.
3 bracelets, 10 final tables, a pile of money. A bulk of that coming from the big one for one drop. In case you were, locked in a closet with the Germans and you happened to miss that, this guy won the very last $1 million buy-in.
No, I won the first one.
Or the very first $1 million buy-in.
And then I donked off the second $1 million buy-in. So.
Oh gosh, well, you're gonna have that.
Yeah.
When you win all the millions, you're allowed to get rid of $1 million.
That one hurt.
Yeah. So the next one's coming up. We're not exactly sure the final details of that as well. Any bracelet bets? Do you usually make any of these?
No, because I don't play all the other events. I don't play Omaha, High-Low, or any of these other funky games, Stud High-Low.
Yeah, so it's not fair, right?
Well, it's just, I would make a bet with anybody for just No Limit.
Right.
Hold them, sure.
Yeah.
That I would do.
Maybe we can figure something out here.
Wants to pick me up. I'm available.
This is my most important question about the World Series of Poker. Will your dad be there?
100%. Yeah,
He has
my dad
to.
is always there, running around, bringing food, just hanging out.
He's my favorite character of the entire series. I look forward to seeing your dad every single
He's
summer.
a legend.
I wish he would come in here and do this. Would he do this?
Of course, he'd
Oh,
love to.
gosh. We're definitely getting your dad in here.
You got it.
Definitely getting your dad in here. Another thing I got to bring up regarding the World Series, All-American Dave. I know you guys are friends. About eating right for the World Series, Dave provides that for all of the players. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, is that important to you about diet, eating right?
Super important. I mean, you see at the final table a guy slouching back in his chair eating a cheeseburger, or a guy having vegetables, and drinking a healthy shake. I mean, look, food is energy, right? And if you put something good in your body, it can pick you up, give you energy, and make you feel good. Or you put a hamburger in your body, and the bread and the meat is just going to wear you down and make you tired. Mm-hmm. So you got a guy that's basically on good food, nutrition, almost like steroids in a sense, right? And the other guy is, in my opinion, taking like a sleeping pill. That would be my analogy for food.
Sounds about right. You kind of sound like Negrano a little bit when it comes to the
Well, he's a vegan.
Hamburger.
We don't talk about I eat meat, right, for sure, but not when I'm playing poker, because it
slows you down a little bit.
Yeah, but I think that if you eat good, clean, organic, grass-fed, natural meat, it's good for you.
Yeah.
I think you should always listen to your body, and my body craves red meat every couple days, and so I give it what it craves. I couldn't go vegan for all the money in the world.
Tips from the magician: eat healthy during the World Series. If you come out here and you're playing some events, just eat well, eat fine. You'll be amazed as to how much better you feel at the table during those long, long grinds.
For sure.
Yeah, wonderful. So the World Series, Pokerography. You had an episode. In fact, I think the second episode that we ran as Poker Central was the Esfandiari special. Behind Hellmuth, unfortunately. He was the first,
He's the biggest.
Yeah, he's the greatest.
He's the greatest.
He's the greatest, yeah. Your episode, for me to watch, is I've known you for a little while now, but just seeing that about the background of your story and where you came from, incredible story.
Thank you.
Such good stuff. And I know, that was season 1. I think we're just finishing it here. It was just this Monday. Phil Locke, your other very good friend, he was the season finale. Another awesome episode.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys haven't checked out Pokerography, which is an original series on Poker Central, you're missing the entire boat, because these shows are awesome. It's 30 for 30. Stuff's so good.
And they really did a good job.
So good.
It's not just some cheap production.
Yeah, like no bullshit. Stuff's so good.
It's legit.
Yeah.
It could be on ESPN kind of stuff.
It's so good. It's so good. I wish the one thing that they didn't cover, and I wanted to get back to this, in your Pokerography, was Burning Man. And more so, to point it out, the last time I was at your place in your condo, you had, I believe, a friend of yours, an artist, professional artist, and he was painting an enormous wall mural inside your condo, which is one of the coolest things I think I've seen.
Thank you.
And that's completed now?
It's done.
That's completed.
It's awesome, and it's beautiful. And I met this kid at Burning Man.
Yeah.
And he was, because our truck, we have a huge truck with supplies, and so he was just spray painting the side of the van. And it was beautiful. I'm like, wow, you're really talented. He's like, thanks. And he's this little hippie kid from Tahoe. And I'm like, have you ever done a mural? He's like, no, but I could. I'm like, let's do it. So I flew him out, and he made some good money, and I had him do a whole mural on my condo.
Had a great dinner. I think he sent him to John George's Steakhouse upstairs, and that was so awesome.
Take care of the people.
So awesome. Yeah, it was such a neat thing to see. We also touched a little bit earlier about this. You have a new addition to your life. I believe it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to your life.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
This is first place, my son, and then second place is doesn't even exist.
Yeah. We share that, by the way. We both have young sons together.
How old is yours?
5. He's a little over 5 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's
just about to start getting really
adorable.
Good.
Yeah. How old is your boy?
15 months and 9 days.
Wow. That's so cool. So he's not quite walking, or is he?
No, he's
walking?
Running.
He's running.
He's running.
Sprinting.
You have to chase him everywhere.
So awesome.
And it's so hard to be away from him.
Yeah. That's so cool.
He gets me there's not a day I don't cry. It's crazy, man. I just grab him, and sometimes we're just playing, and happy tears just come pouring out of him.
I believe it.
I love him so much. It's crazy.
There's the little things, that people don't know about Antonio. You're a proud father, a beautiful father with a beautiful boy, and your dad has got to be like the coolest grandfather
He is. You know, what's funny is my dad and I, we have such a close relationship, and I've always joked with him about who loves who more, right? He would say, I love you, and I'd say, no, Dad, I love you more. Because my dad is the coolest. For people that don't know, he literally is the coolest human alive. And I love him so much, and the sacrifices he made for us to bring us to this country and give us a better life. And so we have this I love you more going back and forth. Then I had my son Noble, and I said, Dad, I think you might be right. I think you might love me more because I know how much I love my son.
Right.
And he has to love me the same. So it's pretty cool.
That is awesome. We're getting some comments here. I don't know if you can see this. I have to keep refreshing this. I don't know why. There's so many people watching that we can't get our own feed. But, you know, a lot of comments, no better feeling than being a father, also be a father. So a lot of people
I highly recommend
go through this kind of thing.
And, you know, I try and not have the conversation in front of people that don't have children.
Yeah.
Because the joy is difficult to explain, and people sense the joy that comes out of you.
Yeah.
And if you're older and you don't have a child, you know, I don't want to be the person that's having this joy that this other person hasn't experienced yet, and might not never experience, because really the whole point of life is kids after you have them.
Right. It's all about them, you know. That's your perspective.
I never thought I would
changes.
really love someone else more than I love myself. But it happened.
Right. That's great. That is awesome. Couple things. First of all, for you guys tuning in, if you want notifications, you want to check in for the next time we go live on Facebook with guys like Antonio, at the very top of your screen, click on subscribe. Every time we do this, you'll get a notification. Boom, here we are, ready to rock and roll. Some of you may be asking, where the heck are these cool Poker Central shirts and hoodies and stuff coming from? Go to our store, shop.pokercentral.com. We have t-shirts, swag, hoodies, hats, cards, patches, whatever you want, it's there. Go check that out. Tonight on Poker Central, I don't know if you knew this, maybe you did, brand new original series starting for us. I guess it's not a series. It's a live cash game. Never been done before. There's about a 30-minute delay, I believe, live at the Bike, which is the Bicycle Casino out in Los Angeles. That's tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern. Tune in. It's going to be good stuff. I think they're playing 5-10, so you know everyone can kind of relate to the 5-10 game. Never been done before. Really exciting stuff. That'll be every single Wednesday night live on Poker Central. So check that out. Yeah, pretty cool. Maybe we can get you in that game. Were you?
Can you get me in?
Well, wait a minute. We didn't talk about that. How the hell did I miss that? You just won a pile of cheese over at the Bike just a couple weeks ago. Yeah. WSOP Circuit Ring winner, main event. Thunder Valley, was that it?
No, it was the Bike.
Or was it the Bike? What the hell am I talking about? It's at the Bike.
I wouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah.
But you said the Bike, and I'm like, oh, I was just there.
Good memories. Yeah, I think he won like $240,000, something like that.
But I got heads up against Jamie Gold.
Yes, how did I miss this?
And I think there was 756 to start, and all of a sudden we were heads up, and I had a 14 million to 1 million chip lead against Jamie Gold, and I'm like, I got to bring this home. And then all of a sudden he had 5.5 million, and I'm like, you know, when you have 14 and all of a sudden you have like 8.5, and the other guy's got the rest, it's like this could go the other way. And I just started thinking about the consequences of losing this match after having a 14 to 1 chip lead. Yeah. But I came back and won.
And how cool is that? You beat Jamie Gold. You know, like of all the most infamous kind of non-stop talkers that everyone just wants to beat at the table, you know. That's so cool.
I had to beat him.
Just thrash Jamie Gold.
That would have hurt me forever if I lost
that. That is great. Keep us coming with some questions, too. We've got Antonio here for a little bit. Whatever you got, throw them in here, and we will answer whatever we can for you. How do you tune into Poker Central? Great question. Right now, we use a series of devices. Amazon Fire TV, the new version of Apple TV, Roku, what am I missing here? Xbox. Yeah, you want to play Xbox. Thank you. Tune into that. You can find Poker Central. It's an app. You get it. It's all free. Good to go. 24/7 channel.
Or you can go to Belize. It's actually on the cable networks there.
It isn't really? How is it on the cable networks in Belize?
Ask them. My father-in-law has a poker room there.
Yeah.
And somehow they got it on.
It's there in Belize. So head down to Belize if you want to relocate. They have Poker Central there for you. Sounds like a great place to live.
Belize is cool.
Yeah. And your father-in-law is a pretty cool background.
He won a ring as well.
I just saw that. Yeah, he won a ring. His father-in-law also final tabled The main event, I think that was 2011.
It was a few years ago.
2011, final table, Belize Bob, that was his name. He had huge fan base there for him. So cool, man. What a life. You know, you just
Life
surround yourself with
no
this,
complaints.
Yeah.
The year started off a little rough, but
Yeah.
we've done good. Everything's good.
That's so cool. So cool. Will it ever be available on PlayStation? I hope so. If I knew these things, I'd spill the beans as often as I could. I just don't know the answers. You want them on your major cable providers? Call them. Give them a call on the phone. Say, hey, we want Poker Central. It's the best we can do for you right now. Be patient. We'll get there.
Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. One brick at a time. That's kind of the way we like to look at it. Will Poker Night in America, blah, blah, blah. What else? Love to see Antonio, Phil Locke.
Ooh, the poker clock coming. Aura, thoughts on the new clock coming for play? I love it. I think poker should have a clock. It's not even close. The internet kids that take 30 seconds for every decision are so tilting and I think terrible for the game, and they drive the bad players away. Who wants to go and play with
It's the worst.
kids that want to stare you down every time there's a decision?
Yeah.
It's the absolute worst. Poker is supposed to be fun, and so these kids are making it not so much
That's
fun.
also a new thing that, Super High Roller Bowl did it last year, but the shot clock is there.
Love it.
So,
Every
that's
time
just
we
another
show the
thing to
shot
do,
clock.
right? Yeah.
Punish.
Yeah. And it'll happen. I think it's moving in that direction where
Cool.
a lot of controversy I saw too. Some guys battling back and forth about, in particular, I'm not sure if that's where you're headed next, but the WPT Tournament of Champions
I'm going there tomorrow.
is in Florida. You're headed there tomorrow.
Yeah.
15K buy-in, very prestigious event. And you're involved. I know all past champions are invited. 15K, they're giving away all sorts of stuff. I think they're starting to do it right, if I read correctly. They're kicking in $100,000 to the prize pool.
I think there's definitely some additions.
Good for them, yeah, and as it should be. That's the way that it should be. And again, Poker Central, they started this stuff. So it's nice to see the World Poker Tour kind of coming on board for these high rollers and treating the players right. So root for Antonio for WPT Tournament of Champions, which kicks off tomorrow or Thursday. I'm not really sure, maybe Friday, down in Florida at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino. What else do we have here? Live televised show last year, blah, blah, blah. What's your most memorable poker hand and win?
It's actually the hand against Guy Liberté at the final table of the one drop, and it was when we got it all in basically with a coin flip. I had ace king and he had queens, and if I didn't win that hand, it was basically over.
You're done.
I mean, it was just like for all the chips, and 3 blanks on the flop, and I was just so confident at that event. I wasn't really even worried. I'm like, I think it's just gonna come.
Yeah.
And it just on the turn, the king ball, and
Just-
when it's against you, it's so painful,
Oh,
right? But when you're on the right side, it just feels so good. And I remember thinking, well, I'm never going to complain about another coin flip ever, because I still think that was the biggest coin flip ever of all time.
Yeah.
And for me, for sure. So that was probably my most memorable hand.
Yeah, that was awesome. Great question, Jamie. Mike Green, another awesome question. Is there a player that you can just never catch on the felt, like a kind of a thorn in your side?
Like someone I can't ever beat.
Who can't you beat? Yeah.
Believe it or not, it's Phil Locke.
Phil Locke.
He just owns me.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What,
He just always has it.
that's great.
It's like I just don't get it. He always outpips me somehow.
Phil Locke, you dirty man, you. Let's see, Larry Cassidy. How old were you when you started playing poker as a pro? So we'll call it as a pro.
23.
23 years old, which, by the way, you'll learn if you check out Pokerography and watch his episode.
On Poker Central.
On Poker Central, yeah, very good. Yeah. Very cool, very cool. Blah, blah, blah.
Cherokee WSOP, I don't play. Oh, Dave Summers. Give Kessler a hug for me. Not really. And Cherokee WSOP, I mean, where is Cherokee?
Cherokee is Oklahoma, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, that should probably answer your question.
Oklahoma,
right
yeah.
Too many Trump voters over there.
Yeah, so Antonio,
I'm going to stick to Cali.
I'm assuming you're not voting for Trump then.
You assume
We're talking
correctly.
about
That's
politics.
correct.
Okay, so not voting for Trump.
Correct.
All right. So, and also, it doesn't sound like he'll be joining you anytime soon in Cherokee, but maybe he will. Season 3 of I Bet You on Poker Central.
You know
Man.
what? That is a great idea because
Yeah.
I bet you season 3 is actually filmed. It's just sitting on a shelf somewhere.
Just waiting to be aired.
Waiting to be purchased from some company that owns it and air it. So I do think Poker Central
should we wink at the TV and be like, hey, can we please have season 3?
I mean, why not? Where else should it get aired? It should get aired on Poker Central.
Oh, I love it.
And it was the best season by far.
Yeah, great show. Yeah, if you haven't seen I Bet You have to check that out. That's Antonio and Phil.
We did a wrestling match, Phil and I, and in wrestling, they tell you that you're allowed to like slap the guy a little bit.
Yeah,
it's a part of the game. We obviously didn't know.
Yeah,
and so we're like doing this whole thing, and I just whacked Phil. And everybody was like, "Oh man, Antonio just whacked Phil so hard." I didn't mean to whack him so hard, but it was so fun.
Is this in season 3 too? So is this
all
like a season 3 spoiler kind of thing? Is just sitting on the shelf?
Yeah, you don't know who won the match.
And then crazy. Why have we not seen this yet?
Because it hasn't aired.
We need to figure out a way to make sure that the people can see this.
I would love that.
Mainly me. Yeah, I'd like to really watch this.
And then the other really funny one was we took 2 Ambiens.
Ooh.
And the bet was who could stay up longer.
I've heard this story.
And we had to lay there, and we couldn't really move. And after 30 minutes, we couldn't talk.
Oh.
And it was, I was so loopy. You know, I don't really take that stuff, but Ambien is no joke.
Stuff works.
No joke.
Yeah, stuff
especially
works.
2.
Don't try this bet at home, folks. Yeah, unless you're in bed.
No, not even that.
Not even.
Don't take drugs.
Yeah.
Unless you're at Burning Man.
Oh, that's great. So there you go.
Even there.
More tips from Antonio. If you want to take drugs, head to Burning Man.
I don't take drugs, but if I was to take drugs, I would.
It would be
go
there.
To Burning
Okay.
Man.
All right. That's perfect. Cherokee's in the mountains of North Carolina. Apologize. Didn't know that. I assumed Oklahoma.
Nice one.
yeah. So apologies there, Cherokee fans. Antonio for president. If you were to legalize poker in Texas, don't think you'll be the president anytime soon. I don't see poker being legalized.
Well, I wasn't born in
Texas.
America. I had no shot.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're American as far as I go. Yeah. Let's see. Ever seen 2 players have the nut straight on Broadway in the turn with the nut flush redraw?
I mean, we could do better than that question.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Sorry.
Hugs, not drugs. Good call. Hugs, not drugs. Here we go. Charlie Jones. I love when they get back to Phil Hellmuth, you know?
On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, how much respect do you have for Hellmuth as a poker player? Well, that's a good question. As an actual, his poker ability, he does have this uncanny talent of getting people to do what he wants at a poker table.
Yeah.
But for actual, just plain poker, I really don't think he's that great. But given his overall talent, if you mix it all up together, I think that he has the ability to play really good. Now, I'd like to play him every day heads up for the rest of my life, and I get excited when he's at a poker table. But you can't argue with results. The guy's won 11 bracelets. So I can sit here and talk as much smack as I want.
Results speak?
Results speak.
Yeah, they speak.
And so he obviously is a very good poker player.
And as far... I hate to, defend Phil and all of his poker play. He also can play some other games very well. It's not just No Limit Texas Hold'em. I believe he made a real serious run in the WSOP Players Championship last year, or maybe the year before. I can't really remember. Where I know he final tabled it. I know at one point he had all the chips, and then I think it kind of slipped away from him, and I don't think he ended up winning the event. Maybe he did.
Oh, yeah, he got second, I think.
He got second.
He
lost to Mike Gordinsky.
Yes.
To Gordo. That's right. Yeah. So Phil can play other aspects, other forms of poker quite well. Maybe No Limit Texas Hold'em, it might not even be his best game, or at least not anymore. Yeah, I don't know. The Germans, the Russians, everyone's kind of jumped up and passed a guy like that. Who's your biggest threat at the poker table? That would be Phil Locke. What are your thoughts on Tom Dwan?
I think Durr was a revolutionary for the game. I mean, he kind of came in and just changed the way people think about poker. So you got to give the guy a lot of credit.
Absolutely.
I remember when I first played with him. I think anybody that puts fear into you and that makes you not want to play pot with them, is an extremely successful poker player right then and there, right? Because there's people that you can bluff and people that you can't bluff, and if someone makes it so you don't want to even try and bluff them, they
win.
You.
That's
it.
It's game over. Yeah.
So, and I think Durr did that early on. Like, a lot of people didn't want to play pots with him, myself included. Now it's different because everybody's kind of learned and adjusted. But he was he was a game changer.
Yeah, he was. I think he
was
was
boss.
revolutionary.
He was
sure,
boss
for the game.
for sure.
Yeah,
for a few years.
yeah, yeah. Nobody really knows what's happened to him. I just saw a link the other day. I think it was Upswing Poker. You know, they have a hashtag Save Tom. Funny little spoof out there about that. You can check that out. The Colossus is just a good thing to start as a rookie. If you're coming to the World Series for the first time, you want to play an event. Thoughts on the Colossus? The Colossus being the $565 massive poker tournament. Is that a good place to start?
Yeah, well, why not?
Yeah, gamble it up. Get
That or any other tournament. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, get in
You
there.
gotta
All the
run good
glories in the Colossus, I guess. You win a bracelet, you win a pile of money. The hell with it. Get in there. Why not? What are you afraid of? Oh, that's a good question. I kind of like it. Nobody's really talking about this. I'm surprised. Phil Ivey. He's in a lawsuit against a UK casino regarding his baccarat play.
Well, I thought that was over in the UK.
I think he's back now as an appeal, and he's back in court right now, trying to win this thing and get it settled.
I mean, I think that he should definitely win that case.
Yeah.
Because basically he did to the casino what the casino's been doing to all of us for many years.
Yep.
He didn't cheat. He seeked a little edge. What's wrong with that? That's what the casino does.
Yeah.
But I always said from the beginning that I don't think I like his chances in the UK because he's going to sit there, you know, as a black guy in a court where they're still wearing the wigs and it's like old English law.
Yeah.
And they're like, this guy came from America.
Is that true? They still wearing wigs like that?
That's what I heard.
Wow.
So here's this guy from America who basically beat the casino, and it's like an insult to their whole
whatever they got going
on.
Their wigness.
Yeah. So I think that it's probably a little rigged. I think that if it went down to just pure law, that he should win. For sure, he should win. I mean,
I don't think he should ever lose this case. I'm surprised it's taken this long.
But I didn't like his chances, and I don't like his chances.
Man, I had no idea they were so 1800s.
Old schoolerish. Yeah. I mean, I don't confirm that. I don't know the truth, but that's just what I've been told.
Yeah.
That the English courts are still that old school.
I would love to be inside that courtroom and just Snapchat with my funny filters on all these people. Like that. My God, that's crazy. Great question. Thank you for getting us going on that. What else you guys got out there? I'm doing my best to try and find more questions. They take a minute to pop up. Let's try and hit the refresh button. Phil Ibe is a beast. Good answer. Jamie Gold needs a Facebook shout out from. Okay, here you go. Larry Cassidy looking for a shout out. You to Larry. Can you give Larry a shout out?
That's it. He
just wants a shout
Larry
out.
wants a shout out?
Yeah, Larry.
Larry, you got a shout out. We're even going to honor you with a.
There you go, Larry.
There you go, Larry. Now,
Magic
sign on.
Yeah, go get something. Watch Poker Central tonight. Live cash game, live at the bike. And you know what? Do yourself a favor and check out this guy's Pokerography. It's awesome. I'm telling you, whether or not you're a hardcore poker fan, a mediocre poker fan, whatever, any type of fan, watch this show. It's so good. It's really, really good. Is Jamie Gold still playing? Yes, Antonio just beat Jamie Gold heads up in Los Angeles 2 weeks ago for a pile of money. And was Jamie the same? Was he still running his yap?
Banter, talking,
same
super
old
fun,
Jamie. Yeah.
Having a great time,
yeah.
Trying to bluff me.
Yeah.
He did almost get me to shove it in on a hand where I'm so glad I didn't. I had King Jack heads up, and he limped the button.
Yeah. I
raised in the big blind, and he re-raised me, and only had about $2 million behind. He was committed for sure. He had about $4.5 million to start the hand, and man, I went the tank for 6 minutes.
You have King Jack here. That's pretty strong.
Yeah. Heads up.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong hand.
And I ended up folding. He had Ace Jack. So happy I folded.
Wow, nice. Were you able to see that on a live stream or whatever?
Someone told me later.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, we may end with this one. I'll keep an eye on some questions, but I really like this one. Where do you see the economy and the overall health of poker in 10 years? So the poker economy, ecosystem, 10 years from now.
It really depends on legislation. I mean, if they can get legalized online poker in California and other states, and then maybe someday federal, I think that there will be a second kind of surge.
A mini boom behind it?
For sure.
I don't even think it'll be mini. I think it'll be pretty substantial.
I think it'll be huge.
Yeah.
But, if they're, if a guy like Ted Cruz becomes president, then there's just no chance.
Not voting for Ted either, huh?
I am nay on Ted.
Nay on Ted.
Double
okay.
nay.
All right.
I might have to move to freaking Canada or something.
Fair
He's
enough.
probably my least favorite human on the
Fair
planet.
enough. Wouldn't be good.
I'd
for
rather
both
have
of you.
Trump than Cruz. How about that?
Wow, that's strong.
That's strong.
That's strong.
Yes.
That's strong.
He
Wow.
scares me.
All right. Fair enough. Now we're not involving politics. That's the end of it. I
No
promise.
politics.
Yeah.
Hey, I never said who I'd vote for.
You didn't. Yeah,
Right?
you did.
I just told you who I
said
wouldn't
who
vote
you
for.
wouldn't vote for. That's
And I
very
would
fair.
never vote
Very,
for that
very
Ted
fair.
Cruz character.
Oh, news just says Ivy lost case and 12 million. So it looks like he lost the second one. I don't know if this is breaking news that Aura knows, but maybe he's reading or she's reading old news. I'm not really sure. Shoot, I mean, I'm thinking that looks like it's about it for Facebook Live.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming in, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.